Welcome back to Midday. It's always enjoyable to visit with Patrick Davey, and I always learn something. Of course, you're visiting us from WorkSafeBC.
Actually, thanks for having me. And I guess today we're talking about cold stress. And as we were just saying, in the last couple of weeks, you know, I saw people in shorts. Look outside now.
Yeah.
And when the temperature gets below zero, both indoor and outdoor workers are more susceptible to cold stress. And if left uncontrolled, that can be serious or even fatal. In fact, in the last 5 years, there's been 68 claims due to cold stress. One actually in our area fatal in 2014.
Wow. Yeah, I think sometimes we underestimate that too. And the change in these conditions where it has been unseasonably warm and then all of a sudden we hit a cold snap, and people haven't quite made that switch in their minds either to be prepared in the proper ways.
And we look out there and you know, I mean, you can go up to Costco and still see people coming in shorts. But
if it was up to my teenage boys, they would wear shorts all the time.
And look
you
at
need to come and have a talk with them.
No. But when we talk about we had 68 injuries, but 60% or 88% or 60 of them were frostbite.
Wow.
And now you typically think that it's just people that are working in remote areas like loggers, ranchers type of thing. But really, when we look at our claim numbers, the majorities are truck drivers, construction workers, utility workers, maintenance workers.
Yeah.
Some are from outdoor recreation like ski hills.
Right.
But it's people that you wouldn't expect.
So that also probably means that most of those are preventable. Those are things that maybe could have been foreseen and planned for?
Yeah, and if we look at it, you know, there are some things that we can plan for and do to make that cold stress possibility lower. And one of them is really listen to the news. The news.
There you go. Listen to us.
There you go.
Sure. I always like it when people come on and remind us to listen to us.
That's you. And it's not just the cold, it's the wind chill. So whether you listen to the news or Environment Canada, so you can be prepared for the day. Minimize skin exposure to the cold, so the shorts and t-shirts, not a good idea right now with a wind chill. Layer clothing, that allows the sweat to escape and the heat to stay in.
Okay.
Keep clothing dry. If it's wet, it's too hard for your body to kind of warm that up.
Which probably also means bringing things you can change, right? If your gloves get wet, make sure you have a backup pair. Same thing with socks.
Look at the day. Is it going to be freezing rain? Keep bare hands away from metal objects. Tongues too.
Tongues too. In case any of you watch A Christmas Story, that should be warning enough.
Here's another one. Stay hydrated, but stay away from coffee and tea because that caffeine can be a risk factor to cold stress. Another risk factor is being fatigued. So stay work rested. And really, if you're thinking about it, you're scheduling your day, you're working in a cold environment, whether it be indoors in like a freezer situation or outdoors, is schedule breaks in warm and dry areas.
So your body has a chance to recover fully. And I think that dehydration one is really important too, because I know in the summer we talk about the risks of working in the heat and we talk about hydration, but I think we underestimate that in winter. We feel like, oh, I don't need to drink so much because I'm not sweating as much. Well,
and that caffeine mix.
Yeah.
It's a risk factor to cold stress.
And that also helps us to stay sharp as well. Being hydrated and healthy. Excellent. What do employers need to do? Those are some of the things that employees can do. Being prepared, anticipating the needs, checking the weather. What can employers do to make sure that their employees are safe? So
employees, they're always looking for identifying potential risks to their workers on their work site. And this is just one of them, whether they're working outside in the cold or in a freezer room. So when you're looking at that, you're doing an assessment of what are the hazards. You're thinking about what are the controls. What can you do? Do you have work procedures? Do you have, controls like scheduling? Like scheduling your workers to be in work and dry. They're out there for half an hour or an hour.
They have appropriate breaks built in.
Yeah. Also, too, you've got a really kind of snotty day. It's wind chill. Do you have to do that work that day? So scheduling can be a big thing. The other thing is providing some training and education on the signs and symptoms of cold stress. Because if you can stop it early enough, they're going to be okay. So employers not only ensuring that worker has appropriate personal protective gear on, hard hats, but really they're dressed warmly. If the worker shows up in shorts, give me a break.
What are some of those signs and symptoms then? What should employees be watching for?
Well, of course, you know, people aren't thinking straight. Their face is starting to, you know, they're mumbling. They can't speak straight. They're stiff. They're moving a lot slower. It's not that hard to tell.
Yeah.
One of the other things that the employers can do is really have a process in place if somebody is showing signs and symptoms, is to remove that person from that cold area.
Yes.
and provide some treatment. Don't let it go on.
It just isn't worth the risk.
It isn't. You know, it's so hard to find workers these days. You got to take care of them.
Yeah, and I think very often we think, I'll just finish this one thing. I'll just power through and I'll just get it done. But it's not worth the risk.
It isn't worth the risk. And really, you know, if you do see somebody out there that's experiencing cold stress, hypothermia, the main thing is get them out of that cold environment right away. Get medical treatment.
Yes.
Don't just say he's going to be fine. She's going to be fine.
I'll take care of it.
Yeah. I mean...
follow up on that and communicate about it.
If they've got cold, wet clothing on, get that off. Put a warm blanket on. And if they're alert, get some warm fluids in them. Get that body core temperature back up there.
Get it pumping. Okay, fantastic. If people want more information, where can they visit to find out more?
Well, as usual, we have like tons of resources on our website, WorkSafeBC.com. Type in cold stress. There you're going to find cold stress assessments, implement a cold exposure control plan. There's always ideas of things you can do to make it better.
Fantastic. Yeah, people who have done it for years and have those tricks and tips.
It can be simple things that you can do to make things better.
Right, which is important in any work environment, really. So make sure and check those out. Stay safe on the job site. Always love seeing you. I actually saw you downtown right before Christmas, which might sound... I was driving, and I saw you waving to some workers, and I thought, there's Patrick Davey looking out for everybody on the job site. So.
Well, Merry Christmas.
Thanks for all that you do. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you.
Thank you.
We'll be back in just a moment for more Midday.